Hello, welcome to my channel, Inflightmuzik. My name is Ian, and today we're going to go over channel settings for your 808s. Alright, let's just start by listening to this pattern that I have pre-made for you. It's just a kick and an 808. Really simple, nothing special at all. But right off the bat, a lot of you probably don't realize that this is slightly out of phase. When you look at this waveform, you could see that it has peaks that go up and down. And when something is out of phase, that means there's another sound that's playing at the same time. In this example, our kick, which is canceling out this waveform. So basically, there's something in the waveform of the kick that is doing the opposite of what this waveform is doing. All you have to do is just go into the channel settings of your 808 or your kick and just hit reverse polarity. And you can see that the waveform literally flipped upside down. And that will put your waveform back into phase with the other waveform that's canceling it out. Let's do a quick before and after. And this is out of phase. Now, some of you probably can't hear too much of a difference. If you have headphones on, it's a lot easier to hear. A lot of times things won't be perfectly out of phase or perfectly in phase. Basically, you want to go in here every single time you're layering a sample and hit reverse polarity and just pick the best one to your ears. Now, this is going to be a lot more obvious as we go throughout the tutorial because we're going to beef this 808 up. And the more we beef things up, the easier it is to hear whether something is out of phase or not. So keep that in mind. Whenever you're adding effects or changing your 808, a lot of times the phase relationship's gonna change. So you wanna go back and reverse the polarity if you're not doing things like sidechaining, which we'll get into in another tutorial. The next thing I wanna go over are these settings right here. Most of you already are familiar with all of this right here, but just in case you're brand new to this, I wanna show you what these do really quick. This changes the length of the 808. So right now, the 808 is going to be really short. It's only going to play this much of the waveform. Now you can hear how that gets cut off. A way to fix that, if you want a shorter 808, just change this out knob. And now it won't cut off. It'll actually fade out. Now from there, you could lengthen the 808 to make it sound more full. The closer these waveforms are together, the more full your 808 is going to sound. So this is the fullest it gets right here. And you can hear that perfect fade out right there. When it comes to 808s, you're probably not going to want to mess with the end knob, but it actually changes the front end of the 808 and it fades it in. Now maybe in 2019 that might be popular. I could already think of ways to actually use this. For now, if you're just starting out, I wouldn't really worry too much about that. This is a cool little feature that changes the start time of the 808. So now you could start the 808 later on in the waveform and then just beef that up. Now a lot of people will go in here and normalize your 808. And basically what that does, it makes the highest point of the 808 snap all the way to 0. And that's something you actually want to avoid when you're working with your 808s. And I'll show you why here. Because that's not going to allow you to use these pre-computed effects. And with these pre-computed effects, this will allow you to beef up your 808 without adding effects to your inserts on your mixer rack. So if I were to try and boost this, it's not going to do anything. If I clip it and boost it, then it will do something. But you're missing out on being able to boost it without clipping. And I'll show you what that would sound like if we were not to normalize it. So let's take a listen. Now with normalization on, you would have to have clip on for you to actually get any sound out of that. Which sounds pretty cool, but you're being forced to clip your 808, which you might not want to do. Maybe you just want to use the boost. Now, if I were to normalize it, it would switch the 808 right back to where it was. So EQ is going to adjust which frequencies are being adjusted for the 808. So if we were to move this all the way to the right, it sounds like that. If we move it all the way to the left. Now, if you were to add clip to this, it's actually going to clip off everything in the 808. So you're just going to have a solid signal going all the way through. Now, this is ring modulation. It's basically taking whatever frequency you choose here, and it's going to highlight that frequency with your ring modulation by cycling that frequency over and over again, literally creating a ringing sound in that particular frequency. Again, in 2019, that might be something that someone finds useful. Maybe you want to add that little ringing sound to your signature 808. So it's just something to keep in mind for 20. Now the cutoff is dealing with the frequency again. It's going to get darker as we lower this cutoff. So if we had this boosted, we can make this darker. The resolution is going to beef up whatever frequency you set this at. So this darker frequency that I have set right there, this is actually going to pump up exact frequency right where the cutoff is. Incredibly useful because it really makes your 808 stand out. Don't be afraid to really go heavy with this and listen to how hard you want those frequencies to hit. That's a sound. I mean, that's something that you might want to use for sure. Already, we've made so many different sounds out of this simple Spins 808. It doesn't sound like Spins 808 anymore. All of these pre-computed effects are super versatile. This is why a lot of people were still using FL11 over FL12, because they took this away for FL12, which blows my mind. But here it is, it's back right in the channel settings. Also in pre-computed effects, you'll have reverb, which you don't want on your 808 unless you're doing something really experimental. Pogo is going to shorten your 808 and it's going to pitch it down along the length of the sample. You might find that useful in small increments, but I typically stay away from that. But yeah, that about does it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you learned something, leave me a comment down below what you learned, and drop me a like, and definitely subscribe for more videos. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.